All right, we are live. Hey guys, happy Tuesday, August 28th. This is the TED Show, and I'm with my wonderfully talented, creative friend, Cole Nesmith.
Honored to be here, always.
Honored to have you here. So, Juan and you guys, as you come on, give us a thumbs up, let us know you can hear us or see us. The last thing we want is to do 30 minutes of you not being able to hear all of the words of wisdom that Cole is going to impart on you.
Oh,
is that
okay.
the right word?
Sure, yes.
Ooh, good.
I'm
working on it. I don't know what I'm here for. I don't know why they let me on my own show half the time.
The answer is because they is you.
That's correct. There's no board to vote me out, I can tell you. It's not like Facebook jail is going to put me in jail. Everything we talk about is pretty positive. So Devin's on. Hey, Devin. Francesco. I love Francesco. Great restaurant if you haven't been there yet in Maitland. So welcome, buddy.
Thank you. So glad to be here always.
So you've been on the show once before. We had a great show. But I like to still give the audience a little bit of a background about you, talk about Creative City, but we really want to focus on an event called IMMERSE 2018 that's coming up in October. And that's really why Cole's back on the show, because that is such a powerful event. It has so many amazing moving parts. And so Cole's going to tell us all about that too.
Yeah, we'll start with that. IMMERSE 2018 is happening October 19th and 20th in the streets, public spaces of downtown Orlando. We'll have about 1,000 artists, about 40,000 people over 2 days, hundreds of performances, large-scale interactive installations. We're committed to creating experiences that audiences can't have anywhere else in the world. So in the past, we've put performers from Cirque du Soleil hanging from the ends of cranes. We'll take a 100-piece orchestra and put them on 5 stages, and the audience can stand amongst the sections of the orchestra for an immersive orchestral experience. And we have a lot of amazing things planned this year, and maybe we'll get into some of those little sneak peeks.
Oh, we're going to get a sneak peek?
Yeah.
Do we get a TED Show sneak peek exclusive?
Yes, we do.
Right, we're going to do that.
Yeah.
All right, so that I want to talk in detail. I have a lot of questions about IMMERSE 2018, and I want to describe the scene a little bit from my angle when we get there. But tell them about Creative City and then give them a little background on you.
Yeah, so our organization started officially in 2014, but really this whole thing started in 2012 with me calling some friends who were musicians and saying, come out and play your guitar on the street corner, or dancers. And I said, hey, come do a dance on the street corner. It started as that, just a bunch of friends getting out in the middle of the city and doing creative things. And then over time, we've actually made it a thing. We had no sound, no lights, no permits that first year. And in the second year, we just kind of did what we wanted. But now we shut down Orange Avenue, Church Street, Pine Street, got lots of permits, lots of stages, lots of sound, lots of lights, and lots of artists. But the organization, it's devoted to helping cultivate a thriving arts community in Central Florida. It's devoted to helping the residents who call Orlando home love it more. We want to help people love living here and being proud of living here. And then lastly, our organization is designed to help platform Orlando as a hub for creativity and innovation on the global platform. Yeah, so we're all about
cultural transformation. You can't tell that you speak about this. He's so talented. This is not just off the cuff. You should go on LinkedIn. You should definitely watch Cole's videos because they're entertaining and engaging and informative.
Thanks.
Carrie Conley just posted, I don't know if you caught it, she said they're proud to be a presenting sponsor.
Orlando Health, yes.
For IMMERSE
Kari
2018.
Is great. Yeah.
Kari, sorry,
yeah,
Kari.
No. Orlando Health has come on this year as our presenting sponsor, and it really is organizations like Orlando Health that make it possible, because 95% of the people who will come to our event this year will come for free. They'll experience hundreds of performances for free. And so our corporate partners are one of the main ways that we're able to do this. And one of the things I love is a lot of these corporate partners, like Orlando Health, are so creative themselves. And so they don't want to just write us a check. They want to say, how can we create something awesome? So right now we're scheming with Orlando Health to create something really cool. It'll be this giant inflatable tent, 60 feet long, 25 feet wide, with a surround immersive projection experience on the inside. Nice. So we want to ask always the question, how are we creating things that are ultimately a value add for our audience, not just slapping somebody's logo on something.
Right.
So grateful for Orlando Health. They have come along to really make this possible for the city. They're celebrating their 100th anniversary
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Can't believe it's 100 years.
I know, right? And when we first sat down to talk, they said one of the things that we are passionate about is the experience that people have when they come to our hospital, when they come to our facility. And they said, you're all about experience. We at Creative City Project at Orlando Health, and what we do with IMMERSE, it's all about guest experience. And so we found these places that align on creativity and guest experience. And so, yeah, it's been really, really fun working with them.
So this is the second year, correct, of IMMERSE?
So we renamed our annual event IMMERSE in 2017.
Okay.
So last year was the first year it was called IMMERSE. But the event itself has happened in some form since 2012. But really 2014 was that first year that we kind of shut down streets.
And how did you come up with the idea? How did you go? How did you engage in that? Because it's a huge undertaking, and as I ask more questions about just the mechanics of getting that all set up, I'm fascinated by how that actually came into play.
Yeah, in 2009, my friend Jake, who's now our production director, he and I went to Valencia, Spain, and there was this festival going on called Las Fallas. And all throughout the city, the people of Valencia build hundreds of these statues. They're usually about 20 feet tall. The one in the main plaza is about 90 feet tall. And the last day of the festival, with tens of thousands of fireworks going on overhead, they set them all on fire.
Wow.
And I was standing there in the heat of these 130-foot flames in the middle of the main plaza in Valencia, Spain, surrounded by what the city of Valencia estimates is 1 million people who come to the city. And I thought to myself, we don't do this in America.
Right.
Like, you can pay $1,000 and go to the middle of the desert and experience something like Burning Man, or you can go out to Coachella in the middle of the desert. And there are these things that are like these high-dollar events that are out, disconnected from the places that we live and work every day. But especially all across Europe, they really get this value of meaningful shared experiences in urban centers and the relationships those experiences create with the place that we call home, or the place that people come and visit. And so that was kind of the genesis of this idea. And so 3 years later, that's when I started calling friends and saying, hey, let's create some of these meaningful experiences that are unique to who we are as a city in the downtown space, and help people fall more in love with who we truly are.
And then, of course, you have to get the city involved. So how was that first presentation? Not that, I talk about how this, and you do too, how amazing our city is as far as they're so responsive and creative.
Yeah.
But that's still a giant undertaking when you're talking about shutting parts of Orange Avenue down, which is really the main hub through the city.
Yeah. I hear all the time people say, like, I can't do this because I don't have that. And that was totally the case for us. We had nothing. We didn't know anybody. It wasn't about relationships. We didn't have somebody to just do something to make it happen. We were just a bunch of artists who wanted to do things. And so we started doing them. And on a whim in 2012, I called the creative director and marketing director down at La Nuba, at Downtown Disney at the time, and said, hey, we're doing this thing. We're doing some small little performance every day during the month of October in 2012. Do you guys want to do something? And they said, sure, we could do something. So the last day of October in 2012, they got 25 of their performers on a bus. They bussed them all down in front of City Hall. I had connected with the Downtown Development Board and said, hey, could we use the plaza maybe? And they said, sure. And so they did this 45-minute original presentation in front of City Hall. This 25 members of the cast of La Nuba. A couple thousand people ended up coming. And I started thinking, maybe this could be something.
Right.
And so working with the city kind of started like that. We didn't have any relationships, but Thomas Chapman, who runs the Downtown Development Board, from the very beginning was a huge supporter of ours. And the Downtown Development Board that very first year wrote us a check for, I think, $3,000. And just to help us cover some of the things that ended up becoming expenses and those kinds of things. And so Thomas and his staff at Downtown Development Board have been so instrumental in helping this thing come to life. This year we'll go to 2 days. We condensed all of that down to 1 day. It's been 1 day for the last several years. But really our goal is by 2020 to have a 4-day event that platforms national and international performing artists for an audience of 100,000 people. And so 2018 is the year that we're going from 1 day to 2 days to continue to expand that to 4 days by 2020. And that wouldn't happen without the cooperation of the city.
Sure.
Their permission is instrumental. Our team can do a ton of stuff,
right?
But we can't close streets, and we can't bring out police, and we can't have EMTs.
But they have to have the vision, which I believe they do. They have to share the vision or understand the vision at least.
Yeah.
And because our city, I believe, is so pro arts and so pro community, they want to do creative things like this. So how does this work? So I've seen the picture. I did not make it last year. I was out of town.
Well, hold on. Before we move on, I also need to talk about the county.
Please, you do.
Because
it's your show, Cole. You go.
Orange County has been really instrumental, too. You know, we've worked with the city and the Downtown Development Board to get all the permission, but we have an amazing source of funding as arts organizations through the county. And through Terry Olson's office and the Arts and Cultural Affairs Advisory Board and the work that they do, and the work of the county commissioners and mayor to help fund the arts through the tourist development tax. That's one of the other ways that's made this whole thing possible. So United Arts distributes about $3 million in funding to arts organizations every year through the tourist development tax for cultural tourism programming. And so we are able to get that grant. And then in 2014, they established something called the Blockbuster Fund, which is designed to infuse cash into an arts or cultural experience that could draw 100,000 people.
Wow.
And so we actually first asked for money from that fund in 2014. But again, we didn't have a history. We didn't have a track record. I didn't know the people in that room. They didn't know me. It was a cold ask, and they kind of said, maybe we should wait a little while. And so
you didn't charm them? Come on, you charm everybody.
We went back in 2017 and asked for a 3-year funding plan to help us create IMMERSE 2020 and make it a 4-day event that draws 100,000 people. And this year in 2018 is the first year of that 3-year funding plan that has come through the county and the work of the tourist development tax. So. Wow. County, city, state as well.
Got to give the shout outs. It's good to know, because I think we were talking a little earlier before the show. We didn't want to get into the whole rigmarole about funding, but it is good to know who your partners are and for people to understand where all of this comes from. It's not like you came up with the idea and then you, Cole Rockefeller, decided to cut the check for it. You have to be able to partner up and collaborate, which again is a big thing in our city and our county. I think collaboration is very much a way of life here, and that's how so many wonderful things get accomplished.
For sure. And the county funds the arts for county organizations this year more than the entire state's arts and culture budget.
Wow.
So the arts and culture budget for the state got cut to about $2 million this year. It's a 98% decrease over the last several years. We're 48th in the nation when it comes to arts funding as a state. And now the county gives multiple, exponentially more than the state gives to arts.
So sad. That's a whole nother show that we need to have. Yeah. Glory Mar, thank you. She likes my orange and blue. All right, so when I saw the pictures of last year's, you had people, there were tables, maybe there were people dining, maybe there were people, but it did look like everybody was engaged. So how do you, give us a little bit of an idea about that, because you said 90% of this is all free, you come out, they want to engage, but there are parts where people can really experience up front. You can have dinner on the avenue, I guess is what, maybe Winter Park will hate me for saying that, but dinner on Orange Avenue. So talk a little bit about the details of what goes on.
Yeah, so several hundred performances this year the audience will be able to experience for free. There are 2 really fun large-scale engagements that we're creating. We're building a 3,200 square foot ball pit with 300,000 balls in it. Wow. That is part of an all-access experience, which is just a $22 ticket, so you get the ball pit, and then we're building an immersive photo experience with another one of our partners, Corksicle. It's called The Worlds of Corksicle.
I saw the video on that. It looks so cool.
So it's 12 built environments that people can explore and take some photos in with friends and family and get their next profile picture in there. So those 2 experiences are part of that all-access experience. It's a $22 ticket. You know, honestly, either of those is worth more than $22.
Totally.
So we hope several thousand people, you watching right now, would buy one of those full experience tickets. And then we do have the experiences that you're talking about. We have a VIP experience, which is $75, and that has special reserved areas at each of our main performance areas and stages. And then we have the dinner experience, which people who experience that dinner really do have an amazing time at our event and find it to be really special. It's a 4-course, seated, plated dinner with special exclusive performances that happen over the 2 hours of that dining experience. We partner with the Dinner Party Project to bring that to life, and it's right in the middle of Orange Avenue, right in the shadow of one of our main performances. This year, it will align with one of the first performances from a feature that we're doing, which is an electronic orchestral cross-genre music collaboration. So
Would you practice that? Because that's a lot.
Well, it's just those are all the adjectives that describe what it is. So we have an electronic duo called the Mood Designers. It's a DJ and a live drummer. One of the highlights of last year's IMMERSE. If you saw it, it was just so high energy and so wonderful. And Justin Machoni from the Central Florida Community Arts Orchestra, for the last several years, he and I have been talking about what would it look like to create this electronic orchestral collaboration. So 2018 is the first year that we actually get to bring that to life. Those two electronic musicians will be on a 25-foot scaffolding runway about 20 feet in the air, and then under that on a series of stages will be the orchestra. So we'll have this electronic orchestral collaboration with 100 musicians.
Wow.
It'll be super fun.
All right, so Christy wants to know, Christy Green, any interest in incorporating large art by local artists? She's in. And Chad Cartledge said, Cole, I just had his son Zechariah on the show.
Yeah.
Enjoyed being in Titanic with him.
Oh, yeah.
Titanic. Oh, yes, that's right. He talked about that.
Yeah.
All right, so talk more about why you believe this is important for.
Well, should
the
we answer
city.
the questions first?
Oh yes, I'm sorry. I thought you were just going to answer later.
Yeah.
Please. Answer
No.
the questions.
So
I
we
like
have
being directed.
Yeah.
I love it. Cole.
We have a call to artists that opens every May. People who are artists who want to connect with us, and we'd love to collaborate. You go to our Facebook page, the Creative City Project Artists page, where we post all those calls. Right now, we're about 7 weeks out, and we have our programming nailed down for sure. But IMMERSE 2019 is just around the corner. So we're always looking for new collaborative partners, and large-scale interactive installations are 100%. One of the things that we are continuing to invest more in. We changed our name to IMMERSE, and so we're doing a lot of things to make the experience more immersive for the audience. We want to live into our name. So working with artists who are thinking, how can we create something that's city-sized and interactive? City-sized. Those are the kinds of things that we're looking for.
Mary says, love the energy today. Arts are frequently overlooked as community connectors, and that's absolutely true. That's why the cuts from the state, so painful, really, and the fact that we're 48th in the nation that's just a sad statement overall. So I love how we as a community are coming together to collaborate to really figure out a way to utilize our local resources, especially to bring on programs.
Another reason why voting today is important.
Yes, so talk a little bit about that, because I'm all for it. We still have time.
You're all for
voting?
voting?
Vote. I'm all for voting.
Cool.
I already voted.
Nice.
I had 2 shows last week specifically about voting. So tell them a little bit about that. I'd love to spend a minute on that, since I know we were talking about it earlier. Why do you think that's so critical, especially in any election, really, but this one is super important?
Yeah, I've grown to love local politics, because national politics, whatever, they're making policies that definitely affect us. But one of the great things about local politics is you can literally walk into a room and have a face-to-face conversation with the elected officials who are making policies that affect us and our community every day. From building codes to the funding of arts to education, like all of those decisions are made right here. And earlier I was just thinking about this idea that like most of the people that you and I and everybody watching sees today will not vote. And so the decisions that are being made that affect our lives every day are being made by a very small percentage of people. So do your research, go vote. We held a mayoral forum for the candidates for Orange County Mayor around the arts, the future of arts and culture in Orange County. There was a sustainability debate as well. Fox held a debate more about general issues. So there's a lot of information. The Orlando Sentinel has posted several articles about several of the races. So do at least some preliminary research and figure out who it is that really kind of carries the banner that you align with. And
right,
vote.
and actually we talked about this. Do some research.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid of it. I mean, I know that if Google's your only opportunity to do that, or you want to try, just Google some of the candidates' names. What happens is people get the ballot, and then they don't know the majority of the people's names on there.
Yeah.
So it's like the Christmas tree effect, right? Or they say, okay, this person's last name sounds familiar. That's who I'm going to vote for. And so, you're voting, but you don't know who you're voting for. And
Yeah.
it's just so important to know that, especially when they're going to be representing what your wants are and desires are for the community. So take a little bit of time. It's such a beautiful, wonderful privilege that we have in our country to vote. I could talk about voting all day long. And you're right, it's just this small amount of people that get to decide, and then after the decision...
Not get to, choose to.
Choose to, that's
Yeah.
right. And then after the decision's made, then you've got 98% of the people complaining about everything, but you
Yeah.
didn't get out and vote. So
Yeah.
please go out and vote.
Yes.
All right, so we're going to see how fast it goes. We're going to share all of Cole's contact information, how you can reach out to him about Creative City, how you can reach out to him about IMMERSE 2018, which is coming up October
19th and 20th,
and
Friday and Saturday.
We're going to share that information, how you can go in and whatever he's shared on his pages, watch his videos. You're going to get very educated and informed, and certainly with Cole, as you can tell, entertained.
Also, the Creative City Project at the beginning of this year started a brand new podcast called Entrepreneur. And that's a weekly podcast that comes out every Wednesday, and it's designed to help artists make creativity their career. So if you're an artist, or even if you're an entrepreneur or business owner trying to start anything, I think the things that we talk about and the people we talk to every week are really helpful.
Entrepreneur.
I
love it. That's awesome. When is that? It's Wednesdays?
Every Wednesday, it's released.
And so when Cole shares the show, he'll post all of that on there. So if you're running to write it down, I promise you we're going to give the information. All right, so any parting words of wisdom for them, anything you want to share? That's usually how we end the show, and you've already shared so much great information. I'm super excited about IMMERSE 2018. I can't wait. I definitely want to be part of the, really that very intimate dinner. I think that's going to be, I love Dinner Party Project. I think that's great.
Dan does great work.
Anything that you want to share with them before we head out?
Yeah, I think I'll just encourage everybody to say, if you're in Orlando, if you're in Central Florida, we have a really unique community, and that's one of the things that I've learned along the way is that what we have is really special. People ask me all the time, are you going to do IMMERSE in other cities? And my response is often, I don't think we could do this in most cities of the world.
Agreed.
We're really unique and special in that our arts community is really collaborative. We all have a lot of passionate artists and arts organizations who are willing to collaborate with one another. Like we talked about a moment ago, our city and county government is so supportive of the arts. And like Kari said at the beginning with Orlando Health and so many of our other partners, we have companies who believe in the value and power of the arts as well, who are coming around us and helping us create really amazing art-centered brand engagements even with their brands as well. So we have a really unique thing. And also, we're at a unique point in history when it comes to our city. We're mature enough that we have really great artists and arts organizations, but we're not so mature that we've set everything about who we are as a community in stone.
Right.
And so all of us who are calling Orlando home today, and one of the reasons I love living here is because there's so much white space on the canvas, and we all have an opportunity to help shape what our city's becoming. So whether it's getting out and voting, or it's coming and being part of IMMERSE, or it's doing what it is that you care about in a way that serves our city and helps shape its future, we are positioned and poised right now in a really unique time. So
Amen.
do stuff.
So we're going to do a few more shows as we get closer to IMMERSE 2018.
Oh, we didn't even tease stuff.
Oh, tease. Go ahead and tease. We have time. Oh,
No, we'll do it in the next ones. Yeah.
All right, so there you are. Now you're really teased.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're going to do a few more shows because I think it's so important that you guys really get involved. Take a look at it. Don't just take the show and our word for granted. I want you to go in and take a look at what's on the site and what last year was about, because there's pictures up there. There's a whole bunch of stuff that you can go and kind of get an idea of what IMMERSE 2018 is going to be about. And you even did a Corksicle video, or there's something posted. I see. I pay attention.
Thank you.
Of course. So yeah, we're going to do a few shows leading up to October, and we really want you to get involved. It's such a beautiful, wonderful, unique event. Let's go out and support it. So thank you guys.
See you
All
later.
right, we love you. We'll see you next time.
Bye. I'll get this one. You get that
good.
one.